Okay, so I am actually really annoyed about this video. This sounds so stupid, I know. I had literally made this. I had recorded, I think it was like 40 minutes worth of video. Obviously it wouldn't have been that long. Like, I edited it down to about 15 minutes or something. I looked at it and I was like, this entire video I hate. I filmed it outside. It just didn't look right. There was a dog barking from like one of the houses next to me repeatedly that I didn't notice until I finished editing it. The wind was just making weird noises on my camera. There was people at one point shouting at each other like in a different garden, and it was just horrific, and it actually put me in a really bad mood. I was going to post it and then I was like, I can't post this, like it's just horrendous. So I've decided to just refilm it. So if you feel like I am not giving this 100%, it's because I'm annoyed at myself. Anyway, so we're just going to get straight into it. Basically, if you've been on my channel before, you'll probably know that I do a lot of uni-based videos, which I'm also actually an official Stirling uni vlogger. I don't really post my videos that I make for them on this channel that much because I try and like keep it kind of separate, but this video is very similar to one that I've just made for the uni. I think mine might be up before the uni's is up because I tend to post them like straight away, whereas the uni like plan out their thing. Maybe I should start planning out when I post things as opposed to just going, oh, I might make a video today. I started a little series last week. It was literally this time last week I think that I posted it. It was basically, I'd meant to post this earlier, but then obviously like I told you I got really angry with my editing. Series for students who are just about to move into university or move to university. Because I've only lived in halls for 1 year. I'm now moving on to my 4th year of living in a flat that's not owned by the not owned by the university. So I kind of want to talk about that as well, because I feel like there's a lot of videos on the internet about moving into halls, but there's not very many about moving into privately owned flats, whether it's private accommodation, which to be fair is very similar to halls typically, or landlord owned flats. I feel like people do not understand how different it can be when you move into a flat with a land. I'm going to start with things that you absolutely have to take with you regardless of where you're moving into. Obviously, well, I say have to, but then again there is always going to be exceptions. Typically you're going to need stuff that you need everyday life. So you're going to need your own clothes. I'm kind of making this video based on the fact you might be moving into Scotland, but if you're not, pack for what country you're moving to. You also don't want to bring too many clothes. Well, you can if you want to, but bringing too many clothes is also really bad sometimes. So just try and pack sensibly. Go through the whole rule of, will I wear this more than twice? And if you're not going to wear it more than twice, unless it's something like a dress for like a sports ball or something, there's no point bringing it. Like, there is always the opportunity to buy more clothes or even get something like charity shops and stuff if you really need to. Wi-Fi is one of the things that you'll need to sort if you're not moving into a building that already has Wi-Fi included in the rent. I know most student accommodation does include things like bills and Wi-Fi in the rent. If you're not moving into, you will need to sort that out if you're moving into a flat that doesn't provide it. Most landlord-owned flats don't, in my experience. If you're going to sort out Wi-Fi, definitely have a look around, talk to your flatmates if you've got some about what kind of Wi-Fi expectations you've got. If you're only using it for browsing online, you might not need the same bandwidth as Wi-Fi if you're going to be using it to play games, if you've got like streaming and stuff you want to be doing. So just keep an eye out for that and make sure you get the best deal. There's always deals for students online, so look out for them as well. We went with Now TV I think for our Wi-Fi last year, who I didn't even know did Wi-Fi, but we didn't have any issues with that at all. Pretty much no matter where you move in, unless you're moving into an unfurnished flat, you'll already have a bed and stuff for you, so you don't need to bring a bed. Some flats might not have desks, so look into like the flat you're moving in beforehand. Student accommodation most likely always will have furniture, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so things that you really want to be bringing as well is things like you absolutely have to bring cutlery. You're going to be wanting plates. Now, I wouldn't bring too many plates even if you are moving into halls. A lot of flats do have plates in landlords flats sometimes, but you probably best to bring 1 or 2 of your own anyway. My maths was wrong when I did this in the original video, so I'm trying to think. There was 8 of us in the flat and I think we all brought 4 or 5 plates, which kind of meant there was around 40 to 45 kind of, I think, plates in the flat. Originally when I filmed this video I said there was 80 plates in the flat, but obviously that's not right. So we had a lot of like plates and bowls and stuff in our flat. You do not need that many. I would say bring 2, like more than 1 plate, because if you bring 1 and you were to break it by accident, then you've got no plate. Pots and pans, glasses and mugs, maybe even 1 or 2. You're probably all going to bring them if you've got a group chat with people you're moving into the flat with. There's not much point in you all bringing a pot and pan, so just ask them, oh, how many pots and pans we're bringing, who's bringing them, etc. I say etc so often, I don't actually know what etc stands for, and that's concerning, so I'm like a law student. But anyway, if you need any form of documents at all, bring them. For example, I always have my passport with me at uni. I think it's just because every time I've always had a trip planned to somewhere, usually even if it's just to London, I take my passport just in case I need it. But you will, if you're planning on getting a part-time job, you will need proof of your right to work in the UK. Also, if you're going on nights out or you want to buy alcohol or things that are age sensitive, you will need photogenic yeah, you'll need photogenic, you'll need photographic ID to prove that you are who you say you are and how old you say you are. Really gonna need coronavirus essentials at the moment, which basically I'd say consists of a face mask. Obviously gloves and stuff are optional, no one's wearing them, but you do need a face covering. The only reason in Scotland you're not allowed to wear one in a store is if you're exempt from wearing one in a store is if you've got medical issues, but majority of people do have to wear them. It is mandatory, it is not all you can wear them if you want, it is a you have to wear them. You'll also need to bring like cleaning products and stuff like sanitizers, toiletries, antibiotic wipes, but you can buy that once you arrive to the town you're moving into. There's not much point wasting space in it, especially if you're on like a limited amount of weight or space. You can buy that when you do your food shop at the majority of places anyway. So I originally had laptop down as an essential, but then I thought about it and not everyone uses a laptop. I know Stirling have just introduced a scheme where you can borrow laptops from the library. I think they've got like 200 or something you can like rent out. I think you have to use them in the library, but I don't know the specifics of it because it's just started. And I know some people prefer to use notepads or iPads, etc., or just other things. So if you're bringing a laptop, bring a laptop. If you're bringing a computer, someone I know brought one of them once. Not very portable, but go for it. Remember the actual device, remember anything you need for it, like chargers, adapters. I was saying in my video recorded for the uni, my laptop is only USB-C, which is a bit annoying as nothing I own is USB-C other than my Nintendo Switch, so that's not very helpful. But mine's all USB-C, so I have to have adapters if I want to plug like USB things or an SD card into it. Which is so annoying when I'm trying to edit videos because I have to have like 3 different adapters on. But anyway, if you're going to bring posters and pictures, bring those too. They're obviously optional, you do not 100% have to bring them, but especially university halls where all the rooms are exactly the same, they can really make your room your own. It really makes it feel like it belongs to you, a bit more patterns, etc. The uni referred to as home comfort, so things like pillows, blankets, like cuddly animals or anything that you like to kind of make your room feel a bit more homely. If you've got like something like you always sleep with, like a blanket or a bear, or if you have like a specific jumper that you always have next to you or something. I don't judge people for what they do to fall asleep, like, you know, especially when I have the world's worst sleeping patterns. Also plants. So this is something that I find so strange, is that in first year for sure, I was like, I would never have a plant in my room. I find them so strange. And then in second year and summer third, I ended up bringing it home. And summer third year, I was like, I love plants. I have this little fake plant that just sits in my room here. See, fake, because no soil falls out. They can really brighten up a room. If you're moving into a flat more than one person, you might want to even bring some board games. Maybe only, this is like, obviously when I say optional, I mean if you don't have the space for these things, you do not require them. Like, I can't stress that enough. If you're gonna bring like a board game or something, only do it if you've got the space and if you want to. It's one of those things that can be not necessarily an icebreaker, because I don't really think you'd want to play Monopoly with people we just met, because I feel like Monopoly brings out everyone's bad side. We had a couple of days in Stirling where it was like fully snowed in, you could barely get into town, etc. So we all weren't wanting to go on nights out because taxis couldn't get on campus, so we just played a few board games. We actually also got HDMI cables. We had a TV in our flat, so we plugged it into that and we all watched the movies. If you want to bring candles, you can bring candles for your room, but a lot of halls will not let you light them because it's an open flame. A laundry basket's also helpful, more so if you're in halls and your like laundry section isn't in your flat, but a laundry basket can be really helpful for just organisation, especially in second and third years. I used to crate in third year. I really regret that, like a wee kind of pick-up crate, because I kept forgetting to bring my laundry basket. But anyway, I'm also going to talk about some other things you do not need to bring. You're obviously probably not going to need tons of pairs of shorts, but feel welcome to bring them. Definitely bring a raincoat on that note, because it does rain quite a bit. Don't bring tons of shoes either. Like, I feel like in first year I brought like 8 pairs of Vans and Converse and I didn't wear them all. Like I said earlier in the video, you don't need to bring tons of toiletries with you. You can always buy them. It's very unlikely you'll need an iron. I take an iron to uni every single year, and I think this might be the first year that I'm not planning on taking one, because I never use it. I used it in second year I had to get another iron because the iron I had broke, and then the one after I got a new iron I only used it like once, and it just wasn't really worth it. Don't bring old schoolwork. I brought my old schoolwork, didn't matter because I didn't take law at school, I took science subjects, and I brought some of my maths books with me, and I don't know why, because when would I ever be doing advanced higher maths, that I failed by the way, in law. Don't overpack your kitchen equipment. Like I said earlier, you don't need 5 plates. You also aren't going to use hundreds of stationery. I feel like we always sit and think, oh, I'm going to need tons of stuff. I've actually fallen into it this week because I was really close to buying one of those really nice notepads from Paper. It was like a wee leopard print one. I was so excited to buy it, but it was £18 and it was a planner, and I was like, I said to my pals, I was like, I'm gonna buy it, which one should I buy? And one of my pals, Holly bless her soul, was literally like, why are you spending £18 on a planner? Like, you could have got one for like £4 in Tesco. So my mum actually picked me up one, I'll show you, I've actually got it right here, from Poundland today. It's just black, and it literally looks identical on the inside to like the Paper ones, and I'm kind of like, I could just try and draw a leopard on it instead of paying £18 for a leopard, but at the same time a part of me is still like, do I want to buy all of this stationery? And I still do, even though I know it's a waste of money. But anyway, so just don't waste your money on stationery. You can get basic versions of things in Tesco and all, Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, WH Smith, all of those kind of places, but honestly don't bring too much because you probably won't need 20 ring binders and 20 notepads either. If you're a smoker, do not bring an ashtray, because, well, it depends. If you're moving into halls, you shouldn't be bringing an ashtray. Obviously, like, I know that sounds like a really weird thing to say because most smokers would use ashtrays, but most halls are non-smoking and they don't let you stand next to the building with a cigarette. You have to stand a couple feet away, so there'd be pretty much no point you bringing an ashtray. If you're moving into your own flat, then feel free to bring one, but a lot of rented flats will not want you smoking in them at all, so it's probably best to, if you are bringing an ashtray, to not smoke inside. DVDs. This is terrible. DVDs are pretty much useless in this day and age. I had tons of DVDs in my house and I literally got rid of every single DVD. Recently I sold them all on one of those Music Magpie websites. I actually got quite a bit of money for them. Donated the ones to charity that I couldn't sell, but honestly DVDs are pretty pointless because I think most things can be streamed nowadays. It depends how you like to go about streaming, I guess. One other thing that's hugely recommended, actually, that I keep forgetting to say in these videos, is bring a doorstop. Many flats and halls are fire doors, so you're not really supposed to, and I understand why, but we did use doorstops, even though I don't think you're really meant to. I'm literally like, disobey the rules, but we used to bring a doorstop. It was really good for keeping all the doors open and chatting away, especially in first year when we didn't know each other. You could just walk into the rooms if the door was open. That was the kind of vibe we went for usually. I don't know if that was just the vibe I went for, and I just walked into people's rooms, but anyway, doorstop was really good. A clothes horse, I don't know if many people know, I feel like they can get called different things, like an airing rack. Clothes horse is like an inside drying rack for clothes after they've been washed. Dryers at uni are very unhelpful. Sometimes they don't actually dry things that well at all, and most flats don't have their own dryer, they just have a washer. So I'd recommend bringing one of those to put your clothes on. It also means like your clothes aren't going damp if you leave your clothes in the washing machine for long, they will go damp and smell. That's all I can think of at the moment. I feel like because I've had to redo this video, I've had a complete like forgetfulness of everything. But so the next video I'm going to be doing might be the last in this series. I'm a bit unsure. There's another one I'm considering, but I don't really know if I'm going to do it. This next one's going to be on budgeting. So a lot of people might have heard of a company called Monzo, like the internet bank. I really like Monzo. I think it's a great budgeting tool, so I'm going to go into that more in that video, and we're just going to talk about other things like Revolt. But if you don't want to look at extra things, there's student bank accounts, there's discounts for students, there's how to save money, how to cut out unnecessary costs, how to get lowest bills, etc. I'm going to talk about that in the next video, which will probably, I want it to be up before this time next week, but it probably will be up this time next week just because I am useless at timekeeping. So if you like this video, let me know, like, comment, subscribe. I feel like a zombie when I say that because I'm always just like, comment, subscribe, I'm like firing through things. I always rush my outros. It's as if someone's like got like standing on the other side of the window like hurry up when there no one is. But anyway, oh my god, I think I've just had a proper mini crisis there. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you next time.